Hello students, I am Pratik Kodmalwar, Assistant Professor Datta Meghe Institute of Management Studies, and today I am going to cover a topic called evolution of accounting. Most of you must be wondering that why we are studying theory part in accounting, right? When it comes to accounting, most of us think that accounting is all about numbers. But when we study theory, it's very boring for students, right? But let me tell you one thing, that when it comes to conceptual clarity in accounting, theory is more important than numbers, because subtraction and addition is not that difficult to do, right? But in order to understand accounting, you need to understand all the concepts. Most of you are from a science background and some of you are studying accounting for the first time, right? So what you must be having some fear in your mind that accounting will be very difficult. So because of that, I'm covering this particular topic called evolution of accounting. Once you study this, you will get some interest in accounting and you will know why exactly you are studying accounting, right? So in order to understand what is the purpose of accounting, let's first understand why we are studying accounting. Every day, we are doing a number of transactions in money, right? In business organizations, these transactions are in multiples. It means if you are doing 100 transactions every day, a business concern must be doing 1,000 transactions or lakh of transactions. So how you will be recording it? How you will remember it? If I'll ask you what transaction you did last day, you won't be able to tell me, right? Same is the thing for business organizations also. That's why there is a need to record this transaction somewhere. And these transactions, we usually record in a book called journal, right? From there, then once you record the transaction, for example, you are recording how much cash you have, how much amount you need to take from some person, how much the amount you need to pay to someone, all these things, right? But all these figures, will you be able to take these figures from journal? No. You will be needing a ledger for that. So you will be classifying this information which you have recorded in the journal, and then you will be referring the ledger for the balances of cash balance, debtor, and every other balance, right? Once we are done with that, then you will take all the balance and you'll create a summary of that. And that summary is known as trial balance. Using that summary, you will create another summary, which is known as balance sheet, right? And using this balance sheet, we will create some more financial statements. Using the balance sheet, you will create some ratios also in order to analyze it. And once you analyze those, you will interpret it. So we have seen 5 or 6 stages, right? Recording, classifying. Recording will be in journal. Classification will be done in ledger. Then there is summary, which is trial balance and balance sheet. And then there is analyzing process, which is about interpreting the ratios. And the last one is interpretation. This is the process which is there in the accounting. So the beginning, what do you think the accounting is started with? It's pretty obvious that it is started with recording, right? So when did this recording process started? Let's dig down and understand when it actually started, right? But before that, just have a look at this particular slide. What can you see? You can see there are 4-5 people, right? What did it start with? It started with a monkey kind of person, right? Usually he became a chimp and it ended up with a human being. Have you seen this diagram anywhere? Yes, all of us have seen this diagram in the history book when we were studying in the 3rd or 4th class, right? I think 2nd or 3rd class. So this is the evolution of human being. How a monkey became a chimp, and then how chimp, then Homo sapien and everything, and then we became a human. Same is the case with accounting also. During these 4,000 or 5,000 years, accounting has evolved a lot. Nowadays, we are using Zoho software. Earlier, it was not there. Earlier, people used to write it in registers. Then computer came, and right now we are using softwares for accounting, right? So let's dig down into the evolution. These are the 4 stages. The first one is, when did it start? It started 4,000 BC ago, right? It means BC means before Christ. So 4,000 years ago in Babylonia and Egypt, actually there were some records which were found that in Egypt and Babylonia, it was the first time that accounting was introduced, right? It cannot be said that before that accounting was not there, but still the first record which was found is of Egypt and Babylonia. So in Egypt, Why they were using accounting? In Egypt, there was a kingdom. Okay, so for every king, there is a wazir also. Do you know what wazir is? Wazir is nothing but the prime minister. So we can say that our prime minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is the wazir of India, right? Same is the case for kingdoms also. So what they used to do is they used to have a treasury. In that treasury, they used to have gold and all the other cash and everything, right? So there used to be an in charge. That in charge used to create a daily accounts report, right? Of how much amount they have received, how much amount they have paid, how much gold they have, everything. And that record he used to send every day to Wazir. And Wazir used to create a monthly report. And that monthly report he used to send to the king. Same happens today also. If you will join a company and if you will work for a company, suppose you are working for a bank as an accountant, what you will do is you will create entries every day, you will keep the record and then you will send that to your manager. Your manager will send that record to his branch head, right? So this is the same thing which used to happen in Egypt. In Babylonia, it was not the case. In Babylonia, it was very different. What they used to do, they used to keep accountancy record and monetary records for the purpose of fraud detection. It means, is everything in order to cover frauds? Is there any fraud happening? Is there any monetary fraud? For checking that, they used to keep the records, monetary records, and that is not, but again, bookkeeping, right? After this, you can see here in the slide as well. After this, after many years, right? I'm talking about 4000 BC. Then there is 700 BC and 400 AD. In between 700 BC and 400 AD. AD stands for Anadoni. Anadoni means the birth of Christ, right? The year in which Christ birth was there, right? So after Christ. So AD stands for Anadoni, right? Here Greece and Romans. We are talking about Greece and Romans. So after, in between 700 BC and 400 AD, Greece and Romans started using accounting. Greece people, why they were using accounting? They were using it for the purpose of distribution of revenue. So whatever revenue the kingdom used to have, they used to distribute it among the people who were working for the king, right? So that used to happen using accountancy. They used to keep the record of expenditure as well as revenue also. Same is the case with Romans. They also use it for the purpose of expenditure and revenue track, right? Tracking the expenditure and revenue. Now, let's talk about our favorite country, that is China. In China, when it comes to Asian countries, the one country which is having the oldest record when it comes to the usage of accounting is China. But they were not using it as a common practice. It was only used by the government and the government which was there at that time, right? In India, if we will talk about the evolution of accounting, then we have to talk about some time which is 23 centuries before right now, right? So 23 centuries ago, person used to be there, a king used to be there. His name was Chandragupta Maurya. You might have heard his name, right? He's a very famous king. And there was in his kingdom, there was a man, right? His advisor. What was his name? His name was Kautilya or Chanakya. And Chanakya, what did Chanakya, what is he famous for? He's very famous for his book. And the name of that book is Arthashastra or Kautilya Shastra, right? In that book, he has mentioned about bookkeeping and accountancy. So the earliest record which was found in India is at Chanakya's period, right? So that is about India. Now, let's talk about the history of debit and credit. Who invented accounting, when it was discovered, and who used it for the first time? There was a person called Luca Pacioli. This Luca Pacioli is an Italian person, right? So this person has written a book called Sumade. That book, the name of that book is Sumade Metrica and Geometrica Proportionate. And this book has the some passages about accountancy as well as bookkeeping. And one main thing which is discussed in this book is double entry bookkeeping system, which we are using even today. Debit and credit, right? So Luca Pacioli is the father of accounting who introduced debit and credit. Why did he give this name, debit and credit? Let's discuss this. Debit, the word debit comes from debio or debito, right? So what does it mean? It means that it simply means that the proprietor, when you owe to the proprietor, that is debit, right? Debio. And when it is owned, when something is owned by the proprietor, then it is credito or credito, right? So these are the two things. Why did he said that when someone is giving money to someone else, when you are lending money to someone is receiving the money, right? So for every transaction, there is a creditor also and there is a receiver, debtor also. If you are not doing it on credit, then there will be a receiver and there will be a giver, right? So that's why he said that if the system is going on credit, then there will definitely be a creditor for every debtor. What does it mean? It means that there is a debit side for every corresponding credit side. If you are crediting something, you'll be debiting it. And if you are debiting it, then you'll be crediting it. So this particular phenomena was given by Luca Pacioli. So now we have discussed about the father of accounting that is recognized by the whole world, right? Now let's talk about an Indian legend. Most of the people are not aware that in India also we had a father of accounting, right? Most of the times this happens. See, there are many concepts which are credited to some other people, but the origin of which lies with India. Same is the case with accounting also. We have seen that Luca Pacioli gave this term and everything, right? He introduced it, but he also said that he did not discover it. He just used it. It means it was there earlier also. So in India, Mr. K.S. Iyer, you can see here on the slide that he was there from 1859 to 1940. I actually provided an anomaly of Mr. K.S. Iyer with Godfather. You might have seen this movie called Godfather. There is a character, right? And this person, his name is Marlon Brando, and he's one of the greatest actor of all time. So why I give this analogy? Because this person, Mr. K.S. Iyer, is the godfather of India, but he wasn't a don. In a good way, he is a godfather, right? When it comes to accounting. Why he is a godfather? Because he established a firm called K.S. Iyer and Company. It was the first accounting consultancy firm. Secondly, what he did, he established first Commerce Institute in India. That is his second contribution. Thirdly, what he did, he introduced Indian people to an examination which was equivalent to CA, right? So this person has created a foundation not only for accounting, but also for the whole commerce fraternity, right? So this is the evolution that we have seen from Egypt to India, right? And right now, there are many things to discuss. Accounting does not stop here because after that also it has evolved a lot. IFRS, then IAS, then Ind AS, many things to discuss. But this is actually the evolution which we wanted to discuss today. And I hope you understood why we are studying accounting right now, right? So thank you so much for your patient listening. And I hope this video will create some interest for you and you will study accounting with interest. Thank you so much. Thank you.